But as soon as Dave states the challenge, all hell breaks loose. Every designer shouts it's impossible to deliver the welcome screen in 30 days. Dave pushes back, saying, "Look, these people can turn our lights off. We have got to deliver it in 30 days." The conversation spirals down a hole. Can't, must, can't, must. What would you do at a moment like this? Shanice, a student of mine, faced this crisis. She was the manager who received Brenda's call, and what Shanice did in the next few moments was not normal. She deployed her negotiation training. But because she did, something strange happened. By the time the boss called back, Shanice had helped him and the team discover a response, a counteroffer really, that thrilled Betty. Hours later, Betty called back to sing the firm's praises, promising more work, and Shanice was a hero. How do you turn around a near-death business experience like that? How do you save the day, negotiating when you feel powerless and you're pressed and distressed? And more generally, how do you advocate for yourself, your family, your team, your charity, or your company when you feel as weak as Bambi and the other side seems as powerful and determined as Godzilla? That's what this book is about. The challenges you face. It's hard to negotiate. I know. I've worked with thousands of students and clients around the globe, and when we first meet, they often tell me so. They find negotiation difficult whether they're UN diplomats or small business owners, senior executives or junior managers, lawyers or clients, graduate students or kindergartners. In fact, the word negotiate comes from two Latin words, neg otium, that literally mean not leisure, which means that for at least 2,000 years, people have struggled with negotiation. And they've struggled especially when they've faced serious adversity like Shanice faced, even though it's at just such moments that we need to be at the peak of our powers. If there's one question negotiation instructors like me get more than any other, it's this. Yes, but what if you're negotiating in a tough situation? Specifically, what if you face a Godzilla counterpart, a powerful or intimidating person who makes you feel so weak on the eve of talks that it feels like you will have no ability to respond if they start by saying no or you must? You feel so stressed that you forget what you planned to say and struggle to keep your mind in the game as the talks unfold. You're under time pressure and don't know how best to use the limited time you do have. You face a damned if you do, damned if you don't dilemma as you try to convince a boss to change course. You feel you have no choice but to say yes. You feel pressure to agree, but you can't tell if yes is wise. You face stress from anxious colleagues and counterparts because of recession, inflation, or another economic crisis, and don't know how negotiation can help you turn things around. You want to be decent and humane and solve your problem, but the adversity you face seems to make it impossible to do that. There are hundreds of books about the art of negotiating. Many are excellent, offering time-tested principles for reaching wise and satisfying outcomes. These include, for example, Intentionally Preparing, knowing and developing your best alternative to a negotiated agreement, setting a range, getting creative, and cushioning your first offer. As my students and I have found, and as research shows, these principles can help you and your counterparts, often in remarkable ways. But they don't offer some important things you need to actually negotiate well under pressure. First, they leave out some vital insights, like what to do with your emotions, or what to do when you seem to have no choices, or how to know when to say yes and when to say no. And second, most books assume that once you've encountered principles, you've learned them and you're ready. But real life is more demanding than that. Alas, while knowing about principles helps, what matters most is being able to deploy them in real-life situations. That's especially true in times of stress, adversity.